everybody has a story to tell, and I know you guys have been involved in the city of Arlington and city of Garland for a long time before you become a mayor. Could you please tell us a little bit about you or your family? What's your story? I'll start with Major Athos.
I moved to Garland about 1992, and because of some of the things that I was doing, I was asked to serve on our Planning and Zoning Commission. This was in 1996, and have served in one capacity with the city ever since, except for 1 year between council and being mayor. My family and I have been there that whole time. My son was born in Garland and raised in Garland. I just graduated from Garland High School and now is a student at the University of Texas, Dallas. But it's a great place to live, and as most North Texas communities are, we're all very proud of our different communities, and we've done a great job. So for us being here, we've come from a lot of different directions to all come together to be in North Texas. In my family, we came from California, where we lived for a few years after college, and so we're happy to be back home.
Okay, thank you very much, Major Athos. How about you, Major Williams?
Well, we were privileged to move here in the 80s, and my wife and I very purposely picked Arlington because they had great schools, loved the people, and we also really enjoyed going to the Texas Ranger games and Six Flags, and so we purposely started our family here in Arlington, and we have 3 kids there, and they are grown now, but they grew up here in Arlington, and 2 of the 3 of them have actually moved back with their families and still live here in Arlington. But then I am president and owner of Graham Associates, a civil engineering firm in which we have designed many of the premier projects here in Arlington and around the Metroplex, such as the ballpark in Arlington, AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys, the I-30 Three Bridges project, South Lake Town Square, Park Central over in Dallas, and it has been a great career here and having the opportunity to do civil engineering. But as part of that, we also have been very involved in recruiting companies there to these cities and actually selling them on the development here in North Texas. In addition to that, I was chairman of the Chamber of Commerce and have served in many different leadership capacities in our city. And I had leaders here from our community come to me and said, we want you to run for mayor and serve and use your expertise in engineering and economic development and bringing people together here. And so we did that and been serving about 1.5 years, and it has been a wonderful experience here for my wife and I. And we love Arlington and we love the people that we've encountered here.
Thank you both for being here today. I know you are both very busy, but you make time to come and talk with me and say Happy New Year to the Vietnamese community. And I know that people are very impressed about what we've done for the cities. The Vietnamese community in Garland and the Vietnamese community in Arlington are growing, and we want to learn more about our officials and our government. And I guess on a more personal note, what are your hobbies?
For me, I think my favorite hobby is photography. I started a website years ago called Garland Eyes, and I haven't been able to administer it as much lately, so I have a committee that's been doing that. So we try to put up a photograph a day that has 1 degree of connection to Garland. In other words, it's either taken in Garland, it's taken of a Garlandite, or it's taken by a Garlandite. If it's taken by a Garlandite, it might be anywhere in the world, but every day someone can go to that website and see something that has a connection to Garland. The previous mayor, Ron Jones, and I were walking out of a Senate building in Washington, D.C., and Leanne Rimes, who grew up in Garland, was walking out. So someone snapped our picture, and that qualified to be on there for a number of reasons. So photography is my #1 hobby, and that's what I really like, and it's what I collect. I have a lot of really nice pieces of photography that I've collected over the years.
And so you incorporate your passion of art, it's a form of art, into even your job, and welcoming people and letting people see a part of Garland that not many people get to see sometimes, right? How about you? What are your hobbies?
Well, my hobbies before I was mayor was that I played softball once a week. Harold Patterson here on my softball team that I've played on for 30 years. And I played golf once a week, and then I went snow skiing. All of that has been done and put on hold because in serving as mayor, it takes too much time. So now my hobby is really watching Texas Rangers and Dallas Cowboy games and trying to help there to try to translate that. But I do hope that I'll be able to get back into sports in some way, because I still love to play sports and to try to make time for that. But it's been an exciting time in our community and a very demanding time there. And as Mayor Athis knows, you never know when the demand on your time is going to be from one day to the next.
Yes, yes, definitely. How about your pet peeves?
I really try to be pretty accepting of people, but I would say my pet peeve is dishonesty. I try to deal with data, facts, and for people that share things that are untrue, make up news stories or whatever is going on out there now in the social media, that's probably my number one pet peeve, because we don't operate as humans if we don't deal with the truth.
Correct, correct. I totally agree. How about you?
Yeah, I love what Mayor Athis said, and mine goes right along with that, is that, you know, as we work to improve our community, it is so uplifting to encounter people who recognize the challenges and want to do something about it. However, when you have people that point out problems but no solutions, it's very discouraging, because they're not getting in and trying to help, and they even can spread misinformation. You know, it's been very uplifting for the most part for us to have a city that has a can-do spirit and wanting to move our community ahead. And so that is probably my pet peeve, that hey, I want our citizens to want to help solve our challenges.
Yeah, so focus on the positive side instead of the negative stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and I know you guys already share a little bit about why or how you get involved in public office, but maybe you should, maybe we could be more specific. Like, why did you run for mayor?
To be honest with you, I didn't want to run for mayor. Had no desire. And when our previous mayor had been term limited, so he could not run, and a number of people had filed. Those individuals were all good people. They just didn't represent the knowledge and values and what I saw as the goals for my city that needed to be brought forward. So I tried to talk a bunch of other people into it, and I couldn't do that, so I ended up having to run myself. But the citizens, I think, were very receptive of what I talked about, which was growing Garland, growing community, and just growing the opportunities for our city, and won the election without a runoff. But it was to be able to take our city, look at it honestly, and look at the directions ahead and move that way. We're 125 years old this year, so it's important that we kind of look at the next 125 years.
So that coincides with what you just said. He saw a problem, and he's a doer. He's going to
right.
step up the
Mayor
plate.
Athis is definitely a doer, without a doubt.
How about you? What do you think?
I think it's a key time right now for all of our cities here in North Texas. So much business opportunities. Our economy is moving well. But here in Arlington, we had a lot of challenges that needed to be addressed. And so when our leadership came, in fact, I had about a dozen different leaders from different walks of life here in Arlington come to me and say that, hey, now is our time to be moving ahead, and we don't need to miss out, and we believe your expertise and inclusiveness is very much needed for this time. After analyzing it, we agreed, and when I say we, my wife and I, we both needed to be in on this, and so we agreed, and it has been a wonderful time here as we've served, and people have helped, and we've been able to make real headway to help ensure that Arlington is a place to where our kids and grandkids want to live.
And when we talk about the job of a mayor, I guess it's always kind of confusing to the common people, because you have the city managers and then you have the directors of different departments. So I guess people would wonder, what is the job of a mayor?
A lot of people do wonder that.
Yes.
for the most part, Texas cities do have a mayor, city manager, or mayor, council, city manager form of government. It's not true in all cases. The city of Houston, for example, Mayor Turner is a strong mayor, and he's like their city manager. But for most of us, we do have a city manager. The mayor really is the one that probably will always be the spokesperson, will always represent the city. The mayor is also looked upon for setting the direction and finding the way that you need to go. The citizens expect that of the mayor. They're going to tell the mayor what they want to see and what they want to do. But it's a bit of a political position in the fact that you've got to work with your city councils and make them a part of the process too, because it's a joint decision that you all make. You don't really, in our type of democracy, want to put all the power into one person to make those decisions. So we have basically a committee, the council, that runs the city. But you look to the city manager to put all your policies in place and make sure that the citizens, their services and things are all there. And if the city manager should fail in his duties, it's the city council and the mayor that would have to step in and correct them.
Now, is that similar to?
It is. It's the same way it operates in Arlington. And I'll just say that it's very important that a mayor gets out in the community and listens to his citizens. And then from there, the mayor needs to set strategic direction. And with the cooperation of his council. And of course, a mayor bringing a council together is so important, but a mayor bringing the very diverse number of citizens in their community together too is a very important task. City manager is going to deal with the day-to-day activities and the day-to-day supervision, but a mayor and council there need to be providing that direction here and vision as it moves forward.
Thank you very much. That helps to clarify a lot for me too. And even though I'm an attorney, and things could be confusing, and I'm glad I get the explanation from you both. When have you been, or you feel like you are most satisfied in your life?
In my life? I think the most satisfying moment in my life was when my son was born. It was not an experience you can ever predict, but each parent discovers it. It's that really satisfying moment. Everything after that secondary, but in my role as mayor, the satisfaction comes from actually accomplishing the things that we need to do. For us, our city is 57 square miles. We're landlocked. We cannot grow. So if we're going to learn how to progress and go forward, we've got to learn how to grow within our skin. And that means changing the rules that you've been operating by for 100 years. It means changing a lot of different things. It means having the right staff, the right individuals in place. And so being able to recruit and encourage people to come to help you solve your particular problems is a challenge. And the closer you get to that, I don't know that you ever reach all these goals within the time limits that we have in our city, which is 6 years maximum. But getting close to reaching those goals is that moment of satisfaction.
Thank you very much. How about you, Mayor Williams?
Well, I'll just say right now is a very satisfying time in which we have reached a lot of our goals in a very short time. We've been able to create 6,000 jobs with over $2 billion worth of investment, and we have an equal amount in the works right now. And of course, mayors creating jobs is so important. It gives hope for families, it gives opportunity for our young people. In addition to that, we've been able to have more roads under repair than ever in our history, over $100 million worth of roads under construction. But perhaps the thing I'm most proud of is that we have brought our community together, and we know that we are going to be working together to help our small businesses, to help our citizens grow together. We are an international city. Very diverse, and a big reason for that is the University of Texas at Arlington, which has ranked usually number 4 or 5 in the nation in a diverse international population. Many of those students stay here in Arlington. I think it's very important that we continue to work on our community relations and give opportunities for our minority groups, and we have been working on our policies to try to give more opportunities here in our community for small businesses and diverse communities or diverse businesses so that they can get more of the work that is taking place here. And we have a lot of construction going on and a lot of opportunity exists. but it's a challenge, and we know that it's not all roses, and it is definitely a time for all of our citizens to pull together and to try to make a difference here in Arlington.
Thank you very much. And then I know you guys are newer, I guess, in your position compared to, I guess, some other mayors. So I guess the next question would be, when you were running for election, what you thought about the position and what you actually have to encounter now that you become a mayor. Was there anything that happened that you didn't expect, and how did you handle them?
I would just have to say, having worked with city councils and been on the planning commission and being a city council member, I thought I knew quite a bit about the mayor's position, and I'd always watched very closely. But the truth is, you encounter so many things and so many challenges that you don't know about until you get there. For us, representing the city and being in so many places and going to so many things, but also looking at the challenges, for both Mayor Williams and I, this next legislative session is going to be an incredible challenge for protecting the rights and liberties of our citizens, because there's so many forces that want to take that away and take away our local power to make decisions and do that. So when you're running, you really don't know how intense some of these challenges are going to be, and you have to adapt and you have to be a part of them. But in this next legislative session, trying to get the transportation dollars that we need here in North Texas, preserving the tools that we have in transportation, being able to maintain local control. There's efforts to cap our property taxes to the point that we wouldn't even be able to hardly grow with inflation, and certainly growing communities would not be able to handle the challenges. The state's looking to penalize cities, but they're not doing anything on their part to actually help citizens. They want to cap our property taxes, for instance, but they have total control of the sales tax, and they could cut back on sales tax that they're collecting if they really wanted to give tax relief. Texas is the 13th highest state in the nation for sales tax, and so if the state wanted to help, they could, but that's not where they're going after. They're going after cities. So we have a lot of challenges, and those things you don't know about when you're running.
How about you, Major Williams?
Well, Mayor Athis covered a whole lot of that, and I'll just say that in my business as an engineer, I've worked with literally dozens of mayors and had the opportunity to see how they operated, and it has been very useful in coming into this office. But as Mayor Athis said, there are so many surprises every day that come in, and challenges that come. But I'll go a different direction, because Mayor Athis covered so many of the things I would have said, but I thought
I could switch and cover something else.
No, I thank you. I couldn't agree more with what you had to say, and but I thought I knew a lot of people, and now as mayor, I have met so many more people, and I am so encouraged about the fortitude and can-do spirit of our people that it has encouraged me. And yes, we do encounter those that really don't want our city to move ahead, but they're a very small amount of people. And so I am very encouraged by the number of people that we've met from all different cultures that are now our citizens here that want to make a difference.
One thing I would add, there are surprises, and for us, we had a tornado the day after Christmas last year. A few months before that, we had a couple would-be jihadis show up and attack meetings going on in Garland. So these kind of things that you can never predict. You just have to flow with the, move with the times and deal with them. But you hope that you've planned and strategized and to deal with these things. And I have to say, in North Texas, all the cities work very closely together to be prepared for just incredible number of situations that you wouldn't count on ever happening maybe in 10 years, but it can happen.
Yeah, because I mean, like, when you talk about terrorism, you talk about New York, you think about California, you know, all these big cities, big places. I mean, not city of Garland, you know, so definitely that's something that even I didn't expect, and from what I heard, you guys have been able to handle it very well and very effectively by bringing people together and keep people informed of what's going on.
Well, like I said, we've got great friends in other cities that can always be there as resources, but at the same time, we also try to be as prepared as we can, and we look ahead for these situations, even ones that you would say Not likely to happen, but they can.
What are your plans for your city in the next couple of years? You know, something concrete, something that you're trying to achieve in the next couple of years. Do you want to start?
I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Well, I'm going to introduce a kindness initiative at the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. It's going to happen on February the 2nd. I formed a 15-member community relations commission that is made up of a very diverse citizens group that are going to lead this effort, and it's really going to put on our citizens' minds of being kind to one another and how important it is to help one another to make a city go from good to great in our community relations. In addition to that, we are on a major move right now to continue to attract and create jobs both from our existing businesses and bringing new ones in. And then the other thing is that we have convened our education partners, and we are working so hard together. They're all the way from our public schools to our private schools to our community college to the University of Texas at Arlington, because we know that education is the foundation of success for any community, and we're trying to leverage our resources to help more. As an example, our career and training facility that our school district is building right now, we have so many of our businesses that are contributing dollars, contributing expertise to try to make that a better place. Our city is partnering with it. That is going to help to take our kids straight out of high school and prepare them to have a job immediately out of high school, or to prepare them better to get a science or engineering degree as they move forward.
How about you?
Many of the same things. Of course, we have a large number of industries in Garland now. We have new industries coming. On the data center side, we've got 2 new data centers coming that both of them will be competing to be the largest data centers in basically North Texas and in the state. You have that component, and those are important for us because we own our own power company, and they'll also be a large water consumption user. So they're important industries to our city. They'll support a lot of jobs in what they do, but we're building new warehouses and new manufacturing facilities. We're trying to use a LEED standard when possible. So that side of it is there, but I'm also really concentrated on changing the way our neighborhoods look, becoming more villages that are amalgamated into a city, so that each one has its own center and its own focus. Bringing new housing products to the city. We're bringing, of course, the mixed-use facilities in downtown Garland. We have our DART station, and we have a lot of growth going in downtown Garland right now, and some new businesses and a brewery, a distillery, and things of that nature. But for me, I think the things I'm trying the hardest to do that are the biggest challenge is bringing more of the community spirit and opportunities for our citizens, and to bring more products for them to be able to experience and live in our community.
Thank you so much. I mean, these are goals definitely very clear, very concrete, that I hope that you will both be very successful in whatever you're trying to do.
We will.
And but that linked to the next level, what do you think about the outcome of the presidential election? Do you think it's going to change the city, or how you run the city, how it will affect your city somehow?
I wouldn't say it's going to change the city per se. I think that our city will be very much the same under this administration as it has been. We have a very conservative city to begin with. I think that the opportunities that will develop could be instrumental. A number of the burdens that we as cities have been operating under, and for us having our own power company, some of the things the EPA has put in place has made a number of challenges. But for all of our cities on the wastewater side and things of that nature, we should be able to get more reasonable regulations in place, and certainly a lot less unfunded mandates in place. So I think all those will happen, but I think our citizens will have an opportunity on small business and others to compete in ways and do things. I'm really predicting a huge surge in our economy because I really feel like there has been for a long time a pent-up demand to be able to go out and do business. But when people that are trying to start a business feel burdened by so many regulations to start with, we've done nothing but impede business, and I think that atmosphere will change.
How about you?
Well, I'll mention one thing that's got all of the mayors in the country excited is a huge infrastructure package, and we heard from the Vice President of the United States telling all the mayors at our conference that they are going to have a large infrastructure package. Well, rebuilding our roads and our highways, bridges, and so forth is very important. But I think the thing that we need to all keep in mind is whether we were Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever, is that we have a new president that we need to give an opportunity to succeed. We need to try to get behind it. The election is over, and let's come together and work on our various goals. And yes, I think now is a time for us to be optimistic. And in fact, isn't this the year of the rooster? You know, a new beginning, that signals a new beginning, and we have a new beginning here in 2017, and I think it's going to be a great year.
Thank you very much. And what do you think about the different, because cities in America are now a lot more diverse, we have different cultural groups. What are you doing that trying to, or help bring people together from different culture groups?
Well, Garland has no ethnic majority. So we are a city of minorities. In our school district, there's 114 different languages spoken in the home. Because of all the industries and things and engineers and so many people who come from all over the world, there are a large number of languages. In a study by Brown University about a year ago, our neighborhoods were registered or measured as being the 5th most racially integrated neighborhoods in the United States. You have no clue who's going to live in a house when you knock on a door in Garland. And I think that diversity and that openness is something that's a very strong strength in our community. We do what we can in the city to foster that. We try to make sure that everyone from every background has a voice and an opportunity to serve. And to promote that, to make sure it happens, we formed a number of years ago a Community Multicultural Commission, which has about 15 people on it. And each council member and the mayor appoints people to that, so that we can try to make sure that all cultures in the city are talking to each other and working together. And it's worked out really, really well.
Now, with City of Arlington, I went to one of the meetings with the commission, one of the commissions, and I didn't realize that we have such a large population of Middle Easterners. I mean, we had a lot of Chinese, Vietnamese, a lot of Mexican or Hispanic, but I didn't know that we have a lot of people from the Middle East, and they have like 4 temples or something like that. Do you have something that you have in plan with the community that help bring people together?
Well, as a matter of fact, I make regular visits there to both our mosque and our churches. Our faith-based community there is very active in Arlington, and yes, we have a large Muslim population here in our community, but we also have a large Asian community, a large Hispanic community, and then you will be surprised because you will run into Kurdish, Swedish, German. It's almost every culture is represented, and I'll go back to the University of Texas at Arlington. It attracts students from all over the world. They come to go to school there, they fall in love with it, they tell their parents and their other family, and they come and move here to Arlington. You know, I went to a dinner party here not too long ago at one of our bed and breakfast there that is owned by a Filipino American. And I expected to see a lot of Asian American citizens there. Well, no. There were 40 people there, and every one of them represented a different country that they had moved from, practically. It was an amazing thing. And then here was the best thing, Arthurine. They were all friends. You know, this wasn't a deal where the owner had invited different people to represent those cultures. No, they got together for dinner all the time, and I think that's what we strive for, is so that, yes, you will reach out to someone to go to dinner with that doesn't look like you, that is different, and I think we can grow together that way, and that is the purpose of our community relations commissions, to grow together and to take advantage of all of the great things from each one of these cultures.
You're right. And then there's one more thing, like when you have so many different cultures, you have a lot of good food. I know City of Garland has a lot, and City of Arlington too. We both have such a diverse representation of different food, different cultures. And what, so you see the contribution in terms of cuisine and they bring jobs to the community. So globalization, being citizen of the world, is something that evident in what you guys both said. What do you think, realistically, what can these members of different community groups do to help the city, grow the city? What do you think they should do?
Well, I think they're already doing it. So many of our different ethnic groups own businesses and operate businesses. They buy components to their business from a lot of other businesses. It's a very integrated relationship. But I think it's important that they buy homes and operate businesses and be good citizens. Our schools are extremely diverse. We see lots of different types of children that are all working together. The discussion of different ethnic groups doesn't really happen in the school so much. They just accept themselves all as one group, and I think that's extremely important. And when you go to assemblies or things of that nature, you see kids that are just all makes and from all kinds of probably nationalities, but it's not important. They're all there as students.
How about you, Major?
Well, it is pretty exciting, as Marath has said, when you go to a school assembly or see the choirs perform. It's like the United Nations, and that is very uplifting to see that. But one of the things that we're working on right now is to work with our small businesses that are owned by our different ethnic groups to let people know that you're welcome in the Vietnamese restaurant, you're welcome in the Tex-Mex restaurant, that all of our people are welcome, and then all of us, you know, all of our businesses welcome all of the ethnic groups. And there's certain things that need to be done. Our city is working with the businesses so they do look more inviting to everyone. And then the other part of it is getting the word out. And in fact, last night I was at Bentron Plaza, and it was exciting to see the celebration there. Well, that is a great market, as is Asia Times Square down the road, that offers a lot of different products, and it should not just be Asian Americans going in there. Well, it's not. You know, other people are coming in and recognizing the value of those markets and then how great they are, and I'm very excited about both of those markets.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here and sharing your stories and educating us about what's going on with your city, for both of you being here, and we look forward to other future opportunities to have you here at the studio. Thank you very much.